Alright, Genesis 1, New Living Translation of the Bible. Genesis 1. In the beginning, God created the heaven and the earth. The earth was formless and empty, and darkness covered the deep waters. And the Spirit of God was hovering over the surface of the waters. Then God said, "Let there be light," and there was light. And God saw that the light was good. Then he separated the light from the darkness. God called the light day, and the darkness night. And evening passed, and morning came, marking the first day. Then God said, "Let there be a space between the waters, to separate the waters of the heaven from the waters of the earth." And that is what happened. God made this space to separate the waters of the earth from the waters of the heavens. Called God the space sky, and evening passed, and morning came, marking the second day. Then God said, "Let the waters beneath the sky flow together into one place, so dry ground may appear." And that is what happened. God called the dry ground land, and the waters sea. And God saw that it was good. Then God said, "Let the land sprout with vegetation, every sort of seed-bearing plant and trees that grows seed-bearing fruit. These seeds will then produce the kinds of plants and trees from which they came," and that is what happened. The land produced vegetation, all sorts of seed-bearing plants, and trees with seed-bearing fruit. Their seeds produced plants and trees of the same kind. And God saw that it was good. And evening passed, and morning came, marking the third day. Then God said, "Let the lights appear in the sky to separate the day from the night. Let them be signs to mark the seasons, days, and years. Let these lights in the sky shine down on earth." And that is what happened. God made two great lights, the larger one to govern the day, and the smaller one to govern the night. He also made the stars. God set these lights in the sky to light the earth, to govern the day and night, and to separate the light from the darkness, and God saw that it was good. And evening passed, and morning came, marking the fourth day. Then God said, "Let the waters swarm with fish and other life. Let the skies be filled with birds of every kind." So God created great sea creatures and every living thing that scurries and forms in the water, and every sort of bird, each producing offspring of the same kind, and God saw that it was good. Then God blessed them, saying, "Be fruitful and multiply. Let the fish fill the seas, and let the birds multiply on the earth." And evening passed, and morning came, marking the fifth day. Then God said, "Let the earth produce every sort of animal, each producing offspring of the same kind, livestock, small animals that scurry along the ground, and wild animals." And that is what happened. God made all sorts of wild animals, livestock, and small animals, each able to produce offspring of the same kind. And God saw that it was good. Then God said, "Let us make human beings in our image, to be like us." Well, hold up. What do you mean by to be by us, though? Does that not imply that there are more people there within God's range? But more on that later. They will reign over the fish in the sea, the birds in the sky, the livestock, all the wild animals on the earth, and the small animals that scurry along the ground. So God created human beings in his own image. In the image of God he created them, male and female he created them. Then God blessed them and said, Be fruitful and multiply. Fill the earth and govern it. Reign over the fish in the sea, the birds in the sky, and all the animals that scurry along the ground." Then God said, "Look, I have given you every seed-bearing plant throughout the earth, and all the fruit trees for your food. And I have given you every green plant that's food for all the wild animals, the birds in the sky, and the small animals that scurry along the ground, everything that has life." And that is what happened. Then God looked over all he had made, and he saw that it was very good. And evening passed, and morning came, marking the sixth day. So, as you can see here, we don't end the first part of Genesis with the seventh day. This here ends with the sixth day, as I just read here. Now, I want to do something interesting when it comes to this Bible reading. I'm gonna look over some other translation of the Bible. Let's look at the CJB translation, which is the complete Jewish Bible. I'm not familiar with this one. Let's see. Let's go here. In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. The earth was unformed and void. Darkness was on the face of the deep, and the Spirit of God hovered over. Let's see if there's any like difference here. Any like major difference. I'm seeing here something about a dome. So the atmosphere is being called as a dome. Like, let there be a dome, like here in verse 6. God said, let there be a dome in the middle of the water. Let it divide the water. Let it divide the water from the water. Now that's gonna sound a bit confusing here, but let's let the Bible cook for a minute. God made the dome and divided the water under the dome from the water above the dome. That is how it was. And God called the dome sky, though there was evening and there was morning, a second day. So clearly, here we get a bit more abstract with the concept of like the creation of the earth here. It's like the dome. What is a dome, you know? Whereas we saw from the New Living Translation is that it's just the earth. Land and water, you know. Let's see now. And even said here, I said, let's go here, and I'm here seeing here in line 27. So God created humankind in his own image. In the image of God he created him, male and female he created them. Okay, so here they are calling them humankind, okay, whereas in the New Living Translation they just say let us make beings out of in his image, you know, him being God. So that's the complete Jewish Bible. Let's see now if there's, and you know what? I guess let's go to the King James Bible, the most criticized version of the Bible out there. So let's see now. It all starts with the same verse. In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. Verse 2 says, the line was without form and void, and the darkness was on the face of the deep, and the Spirit of God was hovering over the face of the waters. So here, I think it specifies more that the fact that like God created earth, but earth in its original creation was imperfect. This leads me to theorize that there is some, I get accuracy when it comes to talking about Pangea or the multiple Pangeas, because it's like Pangea is just not truly the true earliest form of the earth. So this is just telling me that like the earth went through different iterations, okay? Let there be a firm. And so here, and then also, what I'm also noticing is that like instead of a dome now, we're getting something called a firmament. Now, a firmament refers to a celestial expanse or dome. Okay, so clearly we're just seeing like different terminology for the same freaking concepts here. And then the most important part was and then like even in 24 verse 25 when he's creating the animals, then God said, let the earth bring forth the living creature according to its kind, cattle and creeping thing and beasts of the earth, each according to its kind, and it was so. So this is just specifying like, okay, God created animals and according to its kind. So that means that each of these creations were according to its kind. He is putting some sort of like, I want to say specifiers. And then in 26, then God said, let us make man. Okay, here they're very specifically using the term man and not humankind or just beings, okay? We are directly now seeing a gender word. Let us make man in our image. Of course, you know, I'm gonna be honest here. When we talk about like creating man in our image, you know, that verse, I'm not really thinking about gender. I'm just thinking about like the concept of a human. Human, so HUMAN. So man is a part of human. According to our light, let them have domain. So God created man in his own image. In the image of God he created him, male and female he created them. Let's see, let's look at the Bible in basic English. Let's see what this translation does. I'm not familiar with this one. At first God made the heaven and the earth. Oh, okay, see, now we're getting like interesting here. It's saying at first God made the heaven at first, which means this was his initial action. Now, why are they wording it like this? At first, like at first. So there is some intention when it comes to like this, like phrasing being used out here when it comes to just God making earth and the heavens. But then verse 2, and the earth was waste and without form, and it was dark on the face of the deep, and the Spirit of God was moving on the face of the water. Okay, so now we have God, and now we have the Spirit of God. So are these just things they're interchanging, or are we regarding these in two entities? That's just my question would be. Naming the light there. Let there be a solid arch stretching over the water. Okay, so now here, the dome is now being referred to as a solid arch. But the arch is now being named heaven. So this is not the sky, but the heaven. Unless here, they're making the decision that the sky is heaven. And that heaven basically just means sky. Or at least that's one theory. And God said, let the earth give birth to all sorts of living beings, cattle, and all things move on. I'm seeing a lot of cattle, though. It's like, what's cattle? Like the first, like, creatures that, like, most, like, translators agree upon what's, like, the original animal. What's the cattle? And cattle means bovine, so this is, like, the cows and the bulls. And then 26, we go back to, let us make man in our image again, man again. Like us, and let him have rule over the fish. And God made man in his image, the image of God he made him, male and female he made them. That is our Bible reading for today. Let us know what you want to see more of with this kind of content. So yeah, guys. So yeah, that was Genesis 1 of the Bible, and like going over some like ideas. I might make a further video explaining more of the concept, but hey, this will be it for today. Okay, catch you guys in the next one.